Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are doing chapter 6 of the Tao Te Ching. Now, this is an incredibly short verse. It might actually be the shortest verse in the entire book, in the entire verse, in the entire whatever thing you want to call it. And it has to do with the idea of, I'm going to call it the divine feminine or the spiritual feminine or femininity in general, the traits that are associated with female, motherly, fertility, caring, compassion, understanding, empathy. Basically, all of those traits that we have characterized as motherly or feminine, it's kind of what it's talking about. And throughout the Tao Te Ching, there is this concept of masculine and feminine, and both traits are awesome. Both traits are essential inside of everybody. So unlike the Western standard where you're sort of, if you're a man, you're supposed to be a man, and if you're a woman, you're supposed to be a woman. No, that's not what we're doing here. It's talking about embracing each of the good qualities found within the feminine and the masculine. So this one's often called the Spirit of the Valley or the Great Mother, the Eternal Mother, lots of things like that. I've heard lots of translations. You can look up all the different ones, but they all center around the idea of the feminine or the female and the idea of kind of embracing that or letting that energy or principle or spirit encompass you. And as we go on, we're going to talk a lot more about softness, flexibility, being able to go with the flow. There's lots of these sort of things we say linguistically that have the same meaning, but essentially what you want to be is you want to be the flexible blade of grass dancing in the wind, not the old rigid oak tree that's going to fall over in the next storm. You want to be flexible and be able to maneuver and be mobile and all of these kinds of traits. So we're going to try and connect that to sort of the feminine and the ideas that you're going to see. So I'll read this. It's real short, but the Spirit of the Valley. The Spirit of the Valley is the sacred feminine principle. Its gateway is the root of the cosmos. Like an unbroken silk thread, it is inexhaustible. So it's basically trying to talk about the idea of that feminine energy or those principles of good that is associated with that motherly female figure or image. And this runs through the whole book. It's the first mention of this kind of masculine-feminine divide and how we need to be taking the good principles from each of those things in order to live our lives properly. There's a little footnote that I will include that James Trapp makes. That's the translator of this edition. So he says, the valley is a reoccurring image throughout the text. It represents the power of the yin. It is the dark, wet, empty, yet it carries intense potential of fertility. It is the conduit of the life force. The nature of the yin, or the feminine, is most clearly articulated in chapter 61. That's the chapter where they say the female eternally subdues the male through passivity. In passivity, it is receptive, and its potential. In chapter 28, the man who understands his masculine nature, but also cherishes the feminine, is like a mountain stream for the world. So there you go. You get a few different chapters throughout that we will talk about that involve the ideas of masculinity and femininity. And this is the first one basically saying that the feminine energy can be inexhaustible. It can be powerful. You think of the endearing love that a mother has for her child or for any of those kinds of concepts, and it starts to make a little bit more sense. So it's kind of talking about paying attention to those traits, whether you want to call them masculine or feminine, it's really irrelevant, but it's just the ability to talk about these concepts and to appreciate the benefits of both while making sure that we don't engage in the difficulty of certain traits for other ones. So that's really all there is to it. It's a short little verse. It's very cute. It's kind of neat. If you're going to look at the differences in translations, that's probably one of the best verses to do it because it's so short. You can really tell a lot by the translator based on how they translate chapter 6. So might be a little tip, might be something to think about. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the idea of the feminine good or the good qualities of femininity, anemone. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.